And this is the National Runner-Up Trophy that was presented to Brooklawn Post 72 down in New Orleans. Out of approximately 4,000 American Legion ball clubs, Brooklawn was the runner-up ball club.
We're still a place in the country because Puerto Rico is the south of the border, right? I'll tell you one thing. I was sure we were going to win that thing. I didn't even have my retirement speech made up. I had it all figured out. In the ninth inning, the last game, right, we're ahead 6-5, okay? And they get a guy on first. The next guy tries to bunt the first two. My pitch is throwing nothing but strikes, right? He misses them. So the next pitch throws the ball, the runner steals. You know, they're no outs, and one run behind, and they're stealing. The guy hadn't thrown the ball yet. I think, you know. Then I see the guy hit a line drive. I see my shortstop coming over. I thought, Christ, we're going to get a double play. Here we go. We got the national final, right? All of a sudden, the ball hits Bobby's glove on the heel of the glove, starts bouncing left field. And I thought, oh, Christ, I guess I ain't going to retire now. So we went on, we lost. We were better than them, but we beat a lot of teams probably were better than us, so I didn't have no complaints. I will say this much about them. They had 10 18-year-old ball players. 8 of them stayed in the United States to go to college to play baseball. One of them had already played a year at Florida State as a varsity. So they were half decent, but they weren't as good as us. Now we're going to start a little production line, and I'm going to call my ball players up. 135 pounds, soaking wet, Scott Bancroft. Over here, boys. Now, Scotty's got his high heels on tonight. He's almost as tall as me. I just hope he picks up about 20 more pounds next year, because he's going to have to be our number 1 or number 2 or number 3 or number 4 pitcher. He throws the ball hard, and if he can throw the ball hard at 135 pounds, next year he weighs 160, he's going to throw the ball a lot harder. And he'll only be 17 next year. Let me tell you something about this kid. When he came down from Brooklawn 3 years ago, he said hello to me. And I'm hoping he says good night, or goodbye tonight. Outside that, he ain't said nothing for 3 years. We're still working on him for college. We got 4 boys in Virginia now. We're hoping he's going to end up down there. He's in Camden County right now, and he's studying hard. He's going to try to get the marks up a little bit. Try to get him in there. I don't know why college didn't work out for this kid. He can hit a baseball, and his father says to me, well, you know, these colleges talk to me, can he play at these colleges? I says, hey, this kid can play at any college. Just needs a little bit more confidence in himself. He hits the ball about as long as you're going to see. These guys, Robbie and them guys were talking about this kid got drafted over in Philly with his left-handed first baseman filing. He don't hit the ball half as far as this kid hits it. Anyhow, Michael's one good boy, and I know that I can't replace him next year. This next guy, his name is Herbie Dupler. Herbie was a 17-year-old this year, and he's put his pitch time in last year, but this year he come through, and he played a lot of good baseball for us. And he's well, we got 2 from Bishop Usus now. We started out with 2, and one guy didn't quite stay in the pace. He was too busy driving his new car around instead of coming to practice. But Herbie's always there. Now, when you look at this kid, he's always got a smile on his face, you know? I tell him if he ever stops pulling his head out, he's going to be a hell of a hitter. He says he don't pull his head out. So we're going to tape him on some of these machines and show him he pulls his head out. He still hits, you know, and that's what I can't understand. He's a good boy, Herbie. Next guy's name is Timmy Gallagher. Timmy's one of the boys. We went over to Triton one year and watched the JVs because we were short of ball players. We just lost a couple of our schools, and we had to go look for new schools. And we went to the JVs. We rated them. They weren't playing varsity in high school, but we got Timmy over that team. He come out the first year. I figured, well, he probably won't play his first year. He'll probably be all right the next year. Well, he fooled me. He ended up playing left field the first year, and we went, in Timmy's 3 years that he's played, we've won 2 states and went to the Nationals, right, Tim? And the last 2 years he played second base for me, and now he's going in the Marines, but he did a good job for me for 3 years. This guy, I don't know about him, Gary Govins. I was going to kick this guy off in New Orleans. He disappeared and I couldn't find him. And I'm sitting around in a motel wondering where the hell this kid is. Everybody else is in the room and I can't find him. He almost lost his happy home because I was going to get rid of him. Gary was 16, he didn't play much this year. He's still growing, so I hope maybe he'll play next year. Next is my future movie star, George Kaufman. George had to be a jack of all trades this year. I had to use him wherever I could. He pinch ran, he pinch hit, he pitched, played center field, and he even had a couple shots at the infield. Now next year he's got to take the places of one of these 18-year-olds, so I hope he's working at it right now. This next boy is another 18, which I know I can't replace, Johnny Gettigan. Johnny Gettigan pitched 3 years for me, right? 8-0 as a 16-year-old, 10-1 as a 17-year-old, 12-2 as an 18-year-old. He was also the best pitcher on Lafayette's team this year. This kid don't do nothing but win baseball games. The scouts come crowd around him, but when he gets to be a junior, you can bet somebody's going to sign him. Thanks, John. This guy is another one of my talkers. I had a lot of talkers on this team. Michael Lindner. You know, we take infield, my son keeps saying, man, we're dead. Well, I don't care what they look like in infield. When the game starts, as long as they catch the ball, I don't care whether they talk or not. Mike Lindner, he hasn't said much all year either. But he's going to be a good one. We got down there at New Orleans, them last 2 days there, and he was wearing those pictures out like crazy. And he hit over 340 all year. He's got quite a few good offers, and even Princeton wants him. So you know, if you go to Princeton, you got to have a little upstairs. And he got $1,250 in his college boards, so it's up to him where he wants to go to school. Now, I said I had a quiet team, but I wasn't talking about everybody on my team. The next guy is Steve Mondale. This guy's chief claim to fame was he started the wave in my dugout. Stevie gave me 3 good years. The first year, I come back, I don't know, I was scouting somebody, and Joey was having practice over in Belmar against the Tri-County League team. So he says, I want you to look at these 16-year-old pitchers, you know? You gotta get rid of a couple of them. So I see this tall, skinny drink of water out there, you know? And he's throwing, so after it's over, he says, I gotta cut somebody who I cut. I said, oh, he'll be all right. So we kept him. But I didn't know he talked so much, you know? He's the only guy that I ever threw out of games for talk. I threw him out a couple of games. I probably cost myself the state title in up against Roselle last year. He's in the game and he's pitching and he's riding at third baseman. And I told him, shut up, you don't ride other guys on the team. He didn't pay no attention to me, so I took him out. And my son's giving me hell for losing the state championship. I said, hey, they don't listen to me. They ain't going to listen to nobody. And I tell them to shut up. They shut up. So that was it. But Stevie's a pretty good boy this year, and I told him, except for one time, I had to hit him in the scorebook. I'll tell you another story. Stevie. We're down in, I don't know, it's New Orleans, I think it was, yeah. So, every evening, when we're batting, I'm up in the front of the dugout. And we're in the field, I go down and sit at the other end, which was close to third base, you know? So he's screaming next to me, and I'm at the third base side. I said, for Christ's sake, get away from me. So he moved down the other end of the dugout. So we changed sides, I went down the other end of the dugout, and he's standing there. I said, didn't I tell you to stay the hell away from me? Stevie's in college now, and he's doing a good job, and the coach tells me he's happy with him. He's out there with John Dempsey, another former Brooklawn player. Good luck, Steve. Now we got a movie. Michael Murphy. I waited 3 years for this guy to get somebody out. They got all kinds of names for this kid. But I'll have to say this much. He pitched every day down at New Orleans except the last day. And after pitching 3 days of relief, he pitched the whole game and beat Las Vegas. All these teams were undefeated till they played us down there. But watch yourself, Murph. I don't know whether he'll be able to get in college or not, but if he works at it, he should be able to play baseball. Next guy is Mike Pavlik. Michael, as you guys probably know, was the star third baseman for Costa Catholic on their hot baseball team. The only trouble is we needed a catcher. So Michael is now a catcher. And Michael also had enough courage, or I shouldn't say courage, I should say he believed in himself enough to walk on the University of Miami as a walk-on. So what happens, we stand at New Orleans and this kid comes up to me and says, I'm the assistant coach at the University of Miami. I said, you are? Yeah, just got the job. I said, well, we got a guy that's going down there. He says, I know. Well, I didn't know he knew. So I talked to him. I said, well, look, whatever you do, don't you cut this kid, because he's got nothing to do with me. I said, I don't care what he does, you keep him busy. So then I find out, he tells me, when you're done here, you ship him down to Florida, don't let him go back to Philadelphia. Okay, we do that, we put him on the airplane. So what the guy does, he meets him at the airport, he takes him to the doors, they have a party for him. The big deal coming in for the national finals, gets greeted by the Miami baseball team, right? And then I find out he made the team. So it's kind of putting Brooklawn on the map, because we never sent nobody to Miami, because I never thought they were good enough. And now he's even going to get Gloucester Catholic to go down there for a weekend trip next spring, which I hope it works out. They'll be going down there and playing high schools, and the Miami people are going to feed them. All they got to do is get the plane fare down and back, which sounds like a pretty good deal, but it's all on account of Michael. Thanks, Mike. The next guy is another one of my boys that always has a smile on his face, Bobby Ravel. All last winter I was sweating out because I didn't know who was going to play shortstop. I figured this guy couldn't throw the ball good enough to play shortstop. You know, I figured he belongs on second base. So I didn't find any other shortstop, so I put him out there. By the end of the season, I didn't see many of them were better than him. He didn't hit many home runs, but every time he did, and won a game for us. So you can't ask for much better than that. Bobby has a few letters. He's only a sophomore in high school. He's a junior right now. And there's a couple baseball schools after him, New Orleans, Arizona, some of those. And for a little guy, all he does is hustle and run, and he can run, and he can hit. He's got to get better. And I think he's got good grades. Princeton's interested in him. And Bobby's going to have a good future in baseball. That guy was only 15 years old. Gary Vermillion. Gary didn't play very much because we gave preference to his 15-year-old team all year. But he does eat a lot, talk a lot when he's on these trips. We're hoping next year he'll earn his keep. He's a good boy and he works hard, and I'm pretty sure he's going to make the first team this year. Gary. Next guy is Will Busby. Will was hitting 240 June the 14th, no, July the 14th. 240, right? He goes down and wins the runs RBI title, which covers the regionals and the nationals. Plus he started to get the ball over the plate, started winning baseball games. But his biggest problem is he's a worrywart. He worries like nothing, right? No kid I ever saw. I'm sitting down there in New Orleans, right? It's only the second inning. We're playing this Puerto Rico team. We're winning 2-1. He's sitting next to me. He says, how come they never hit when I pitch? I says, hey, Will, the last 2 games I took you out after the 4th inning because we had so many runs, I saved you. Do you remember? In Virginia in the state finals, I actually cost him the strikeout title for the Nationals because I pulled him out in that game in Virginia. Then the guy from Puerto Rico who pitched more games than Will did because I didn't let Will in there. He got more strikeouts than Will. I think he had one more, or Will would have won the strikeout award also. But he did get the RBI award, and next year his picture will be in the American Legion Baseball Guide. And he's also young enough to play another year. Thank you, Will. I forgot to mention when McGettigan was up here that he won the Sportsmanship Award. What that means is that he finished second in the voting for American Legion Ball Player of the Year. The kid for shortstop from Puerto Rico won first prize. McGettigan was second. They gave him the Sportsmanship Award. And Michael Bassara was third. And they don't have awards for third, but he was the third one. Was only 15 years old. Mark, here's Jack. Mark played with his Babe Ruth team all summer, and they had a pretty good year. They did well in the state tournament. And whenever he wasn't playing with him, the kid was always over our ballpark. And when we got in the tournaments and we got big leagues, we started throwing him in there. And in fact, I think he caught one of us. Did you get a walk down, Virginia? Yeah, okay, all right. Well, anyhow, this kid, you know, he's coming here 15 years old, and we're playing, we're undefeated, so I figured to go to the kids and save my best pitcher for the last day. I put him in there the last couple of innings, and he had him set up for his fastball, but the only trouble is they hit him. And he says, maybe I had to get a little bit stronger so next year I can throw the ball by this guy. So he's working pretty hard at it, and I know that with the head on this kid's shoulder, that he's going to be a good pitcher. Ray Kirster, I forgot he was here. He lives in Brooklawn, so I saved him for last. To go out with football, I dropped him to the bottom of the team. Raymond was only 16 years old, and he played for Michael Mavoli here in Brooklawn, and he played outfield, and he played third base when McGettigan pitched. He's a good left-hand hitter, and he's going to fill that skinny frame of his out, and he's going to hit the ball long. And we might even make a picture out of him this year because we're short of pitchers. Don't laugh. And you got to get them somewhere, and if you can't find them, you go take them off your own team. And when we get the high school coach to pitch him a little, he might be ready for Legion ball. Well, anyhow, like I said, he's from Brooklawn. He's our chief claim to fame. He's a local boy that made good. Ray Kirby. Now, one guy that helps me all the time, he helps my son Joseph, is Michael Mavoli. In the fall, we have to cart these kids around. He's there. He helps every chance when his team is not playing. And I want to give him a Brooklawn jacket for all the help he gave us. Now, I hope I wasn't too long. And like I say, I thank all my kids, my wife, she's been putting up for me for 33 years. Anybody can do that. No, I've been married longer. Now, what am I talking about? I forget how many years I've been married. I've been coaching 33 years. I think Joey's 36. I don't know how long I've been married. But anyhow, don't forget the bartender will leave the money. And if you want to stay around and see Mike's tapes, we'd be glad to have you. And if anybody wants to talk baseball, I'll be here all night. Thanks a lot for coming.